We actually had a massive pantomime, two really big ones. One was set up in the Central Methodist Hall, which they've asked me to be part of next year, and I don't know whether Rotary could help. They charged only £1 for children to come, and I thought that was quite wonderful, with a group there of young men who had been in trouble in their former life. They'd changed how they were going to be, and then they recruited other young people so they didn't be on the streets. They called themselves Fridays, and then they worked out a pantomime, and it was called Cinderella, and it was about Cinderella really not being able to go and play football. Her brothers could, and they had a not very nice stepmother who didn't let her go, but in the end she was washing all the team's football clothes and doing everything, but in the end she became the star of the football team when she dressed up as a boy. So it's a bit silly, but it was really good because so many children came from so many deprived homes, and they got free food that night, and they got presents from Father Christmas, and they got a pantomime for £1. So that's wonderful, isn't it? And it might be something that Rotary could join in with next year. And I also went to another marvellous pantomime, which was brought in by the Masonic groups of the city. I think it was Coventry and Warwickshire Masonic. And they brought in a pantomime where David Joyce, I don't think he's here today, was part of that team. There was a lot of people from Rotary and other places that made it happen. They all became elves and Father Christmas, and they brought in a pantomime that's a travelling pantomime, and they brought in schools with special needs and deprived areas, and they gave all the teachers and all the carers a box of chocolates, and all the children a whole bag of Christmas goodies and a teddy bear. So wasn't that lovely? And that happened the other week since we met. I've also been guest of honour at St John's Ambulance, which was very nice, and all the people there that do great work. And there's one man there that has worked for St John's Ambulance for 65 years, and he's still going well. And you wouldn't believe he's over 50. He looks marvellous on the work that he does. As a family, we went to see Bootleg Beatles at the Symphony Hall, which was very good. I could recommend that to you. And as a family, we also had our Porretta Christmas party. So I have to say sorry to Ken, because it clashed with the date. So my husband's made you a donation, Ken, to make up some of the money for you. So if you want to collect that later. On that night, as a family, with all our guests that work for us, because we're a family business going back to 2012, I think we're one of the oldest family businesses in the city, and we raised £1,000, and we gave half of it to one of the guys whose father had died from dementia, so we gave it to dementia for George Eliot Hospital. And the other plea that we were asked to help with within our group was somebody at Zoe's place. So we raised about 800 and odd. My husband made it up so that they both got £500 each on that one night. So I thought that was really good. What else have we been doing? We've had carols in the cloister, which I organised in the Priory Visitor Centre. I'm not sure whether anybody... Isabel came, and Alan, and Janet, and Kevin. So that was really good, and I think it was a really joyful, hopeful Christmas where we enjoyed live music, from African drumming to guitarists to flutists to singing, little children singing, soulful babes. They were brilliant as well. So we did a lot there. We didn't do it for money, we did it for joy, for Christmas. So that was lovely. We also made Make Your Own Christmas with the Godiva sisters in the Priory Visitor Centre, where we asked everybody to bring recycled goods. So we saved things from landfill. So I definitely know we did. Because I was on a walk with my husband to the canal basin, and I saw a skip. Have you ever seen a skip and you thought, that might be useful? And I said to my husband, Steve, we've got to get that out. And he went, no, and started walking on. I said, come on, Steve, we're saving it from landfill. And it was a lot of greenery, plastic, which I had to wash it and clean it, and we took it to Make Your Own Christmas. We made wreaths for the door, we made banister things, we made things for the table, and it came out beautifully. So you see, you can make your own Christmas, and it doesn't have to cost a fortune. So we did that with lots of people. What else have we done? I can't tell you because there's too many things going on here to tell you everything, but I think that gives you a bit of a flavour. And I must tell you about the bike run, because that was really good. That was at the Canal Basin, if any of you came to that, I'm not sure, but there was over 100 bikers. Now I don't know what you think about bikers, they look quite tough and rough, some of them, and they have big leather jackets on, but some of them dressed up as elves and Father Christmases and Rudolphs, And they actually had biker dogs, and the biker dogs actually rode on a bike with a human rider and wore a little hard hat and goggles. Can you believe it? I couldn't believe it. It was so sweet. But you know, they were so wonderful, that group, because they're called, I can't remember, something like Coventry Riders or something. I can get the name if you're interested. But they're so good because they all gave £5 of their own money, and they dressed up and did all of this. And then they also went to people to get presents for children. They brought in lots of presents, toys galore and chocolates and everything. And they raised over £1,000 for Salvation Army. Wasn't that wonderful? I think that was really good. And they're so heartwarming, good people. If you haven't, you know, sometimes you might see somebody and think, oh, it's a bit scary. But really, you know, they're like gentle giants, and they were so lovely. So maybe we can get them doing something for Rotary. You could have Rotary on the bikes, couldn't we? I'm sure Janet would come on her bike, and I'm sure Kevin and Janet. Whether we get you on a motorbike, I'm not sure. But we know that the blood for bikes. I think we had a talk. Some of these riders that came out, they've all got other jobs. It's all voluntary. So I thought it was quite wonderful. So yes, I've got to tell you about that. And then I also had to see some people on and off a train that were going on a nice journey on the Northern Bell. I don't know whether you've heard of that. So maybe we could get them encouraged to give a ticket for a Rotary event. What do you think? Because one big plan, which we haven't decided yet, was to do a big auction in the spring with all the Rotaries, where we make a nice spring wall, and maybe we can get some prizes, big prizes, and hopefully you'll all support it, because you need support, otherwise it's no good doing it. And today, the auction today, you see the lovely plant in the middle of your table. Now, everybody loves a plant. Some of us are good and we can keep them alive, and other people don't. But you can just give them away. So that's the good thing about a plant. It looks lovely and it will last more than a week. It should last a year, I would think, if you could look after it properly. Now, the suggestion is, because you've all got one on each table, is that you put £1 maybe in a saucer, just because it's on our table and it's graced us while we've eaten, and it's green, isn't it, for the world. But then the people that want to vote for it on your table, want to auction for it, have to auction over £5, because the plant is actually £5. So if you actually like it, indicate to the people on your table, so every table gets a chance to win one, then that money, whoever gives the most, that goes into the pot, and all that money goes to the Kings Hill nurseries for this staff, the ones that work down in the nurseries. So they're all people with additional needs, so I think that's a great charity that we've helped today as well. So thank you for that, and I'm going to hand over to David now to speak.